Hello and welcome to our mental health team. As we can't meet with you in person at the minute, we thought you could meet with us online and see what a fantastic team we are and just waiting to help and support you and guide you through your nurse training. You will find throughout these slides and introductions from some of our academic teams where we'd like to help you to get to know us.
Hello, my name's Dr. Audrey Campbell. My background when I was in practice was in acute day hospital care and as a CPN and in the community. I'm a member of the mental health nursing team. I teach on the pre-registration programs and I'm the program leader for the Mental Health Recovery and Social Inclusion Masters online program. As you might expect, my interests are all things mental health recovery, which I believe is an approach and a way of being rather than a model. I think it's an approach that requires an intrinsic amount of respect for the people that you're working with, authenticity in the way that you deal with people, humility about your learning and how they understand and what their experiences are, and that requires compassion and a belief in and hope for the individual. It's a uniquely individual approach for each and every single person. One of the real tenets of mental health recovery and social inclusion is social connectedness. We all need that, everyone does, and people with mental health challenges need it just as much as anybody else. We need to consider how we can help people have hope for their future when their past may have looked quite dark. We need to think about how we can help people re-look at their own identity in relationship to their mental health challenges. And I believe that nurses can play a really important part in that, this sort of individual-centred recovery. I believe very strongly in peer support work, in patient leadership, and the importance of conversations about how the lived and the learned experiences are different, but how they can offer insights that are important to mental health recovery. I'm interested in opening up those conversations and about thinking about the challenges of really good mental health care. I also think that the development of career opportunities for peer support workers and patient leaders within our current structures in the NHS are a really important development. And that we need to recognise the emotional labour that comes with talking about lived experience, talking from and of your own lived experience of mental ill health. And I also believe very firmly in the inclusion of service user involvement in all stages and practices within higher education in relation to mental health. On a personal note, I like to cook, eat, walk on the beach and swim in the sea. I like lots of tea, and there's not much that brings me more pleasure in life than friends, family, and the sight of my dog running along the beach with her ears flapping. I wish you luck today. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Heather Matora. I'm one of the senior lecturers within the School of Health and Social Work at the University of Hertfordshire. I've been at the University of Hertfordshire for over 2 years, and my main areas of expertise are within mental health essential practice, substance misuse. I've worked extensively with veterans who have mental health problems. I've also worked in prison services, but most of all I've worked within simulation in mental health practice and education. I love a lot of things. I do travel quite a lot. I travel back home to Zimbabwe, sometimes to South Africa, and I have family all around the globe, like any migrating family. I am also a mom, busy mom of 2. I'm a wife. I'm a main carer for someone with mental health problems, but I'm also an avid collector. So all the charity shops know my name, and I tend to collect anything that's bright and beautiful because I believe in health and well-being. I'm also a great believer in enhancing health and well-being amongst people from the BME community, because we often don't access services, especially mental health services, when we actually need them. So that's me.
Hello, I'm Jan Leakes. I'm a senior lecturer in the mental health team and the admissions tutor for mental health. At the moment, I teach on a module called My Personal Journey. This is for third year students and it's a 30 credit module. As well as exploring professional and personal development, we focus on leadership and management as nurses transition into registered nurses. My particular interest and passion, which has been throughout my nursing career of 30 plus years now, is working with people living with dementia. My most recent publication on this is a chapter on communication in a book called Evidence-Based Care for Nurses and Student Nurses. I'm passionate that good quality dementia care is provided to people living with dementia. It's important that all the training we provide is both evidence-based and of a good enough quality that people are able to understand it and then use this within their practice. When I'm teaching about dementia care, I usually talk about the biopsychosocial model and its approach. This, I believe, is the way we work this is the way we work for people living with dementia. It's not an approach that we just adapt when we're working. It's an approach that we have and a philosophy by which we live our lives. It was Tom Kitwood that introduced the biopsychosocial model, and I follow his work avidly, although there are other models available. As well as a lecturer, I'm a mum, a wife. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats and 8 chickens. I absolutely love my holidays. Recently, I've just spent a month in Australia. I love parties. They're usually at my house and very loud. And I absolutely love walking our dogs. We live in the countryside, so we're very, very fortunate to have some great walks. I'm really looking forward to welcoming you to our university and being able to work with you through the progression of your training with us and into a nursing career.
Hi, I'm Laura Lowe. I'm one of the lecturers in the mental health nursing team here at the University of Hertfordshire. I've worked for the university for 10 years now in the mental health nursing team. I used to work alongside that in various clinical settings in child and adolescent mental health, but I gave that up a few years ago after the birth of my second child. So my main interests are psychology. I did a psychology degree before doing mental health nursing, and I really like the psychological approaches that inform our thinking about mental health. And one of the modules I teach in the first year looks at some of those concepts and theories around mental health and well-being. And so I like that side of things. My particular clinical interests, and where I link to placements mostly, are child and adolescent mental health and eating disorders. So I've worked mostly within CAM settings, mostly in a children's mental health unit, but also adolescent mental health services too. I particularly like the inpatient work, and a lot of the work I was involved in was working with young people with eating disorders and somatizing disorders, as well as a lot of other mental health problems. And I was really lucky in that we worked in a way called psychosocial nursing and the therapeutic milieu, which is a very psychologically informed way of working. And we used a lot more of that psychological approach rather than medication, although we did balance it with medication where needed as well. So the thinking behind psychosocial nursing, which is what I am particularly interested in, is that the work of the day, so every part of the day, should be considered therapeutic in and of itself. So eating lunch with somebody, watching TV, going to the park, all of these can be therapeutic and should be considered therapeutic, just as your one-to-one key sessions, where you have more formal therapeutic goals potentially, would be therapeutic too. So we need to think therapeutically about the whole of the day. So I particularly like that way of working. I've also worked a bit in drug and alcohol services as well, and I was involved in a research project around supervised versus unsupervised consumption of some of the medications that we give to people to help them come off heroin. So I liked being involved in that as well, but my heart really does lie in CAMS and in eating disorders. Now, outside of work, I've got 2 young children, so they keep me busy a lot of the time, and we've recently got a puppy, so I'm enjoying, or I was enjoying before things got a bit more restricted, going for walks with our puppy and getting him socialising with other puppies as well. Okay, well, I look forward to meeting some of you in September, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye.
My name is Godfrey Muchena. I'm one of the lecturing staff at the University of Hertfordshire in the mental health team, which falls under the wider Department of Nursing Health and Well-being. I recently joined the university from practice, where I spent about 20 years of valuable experience. I worked within acute mental health settings, inpatient, as well as acute community placements under the crisis teams. In hospitals, I also had an opportunity to spend some time on the mother and baby unit, where I developed my research interests and also worked on a research project which I later published in the Nursing Times. Carrying on from these engagements, my experience has rather been enmeshed within the educational fraternity, and I have seen myself being involved with students whilst I was in practice, and also myself being a student by engaging in continuing professional development programs, both offered in the NHS Trust as well as the University of Hertfordshire. I continue to have research interests, and currently my interest is in mental health for the disadvantaged groups. Coming back to the university, my sole responsibilities starting September 2020 will be module leading of research and evidence-based nursing at BSc level, as well as mental health and nursing practice again at BSc level. Just to give you a brief background about my personal interests, I do like to be involved in greenery activities, which involve my very famous allotment, and I grow my own vegetables. I like to cook them, and I also like to eat what I cook. And above all, I like to socialize and travel all over the world. Thank you.